Lunchtime, we're on Job 25. And Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, Rule and fear belong to him, making peace in his mighty places. Is there any number to his armies? And on whom does his light not rise? So how could a man be righteous before El? Or how could he be flawless, who is born of a woman? See, even the moon does not shine, and the stars have not been flawless in his eyes. How much less man, a maggot, and a son of man, a worm? And Job answered and said, How have you helped the powerless, saved an army not strong? How have you given counsel to the unwise, or declared sound advice to many? With whom have you spoken words, and whose spirit came from you? The dead wait, those under the waters, and those inhabiting them. Sheol is naked before him, and destruction has no covering. He it was who stretched out the north over emptiness, hanging the earth upon space, binding up waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not torn under them, covering the surface of his throne, spreading his cloud over it. A law of encirclement on the face of the waters, until the end of light with darkness. The columns of the heavens tremble and are stunned at his reproof. By his power he has calmed the sea, and by his understanding he struck down Rahab. By his spirit he adorned the heavens, his hand whirled the fleeing serpent. See, these are the fingers of his ways, and how little a matter. I said fingers, it says see, these are the fringes of his ways, and how little a matter is heard of him. And who understands the thunder of his power? And Job again took up his discourse and said, As El lives, who has turned aside my right ruling, and the Almighty, who has made my life bitter, as long as my breath is in me, and the spirit of Eloah is in my nostrils. My lips do not speak unrighteousness, nor my tongue utter deceit. Far be it from me that I grant that you are right. Until I die, I would not turn aside my integrity from me. My righteousness I hold fast, and I do not let it go. My heart does not reproach me as long as I live. Let my enemy be like the wrongdoer, and he who rises up against me like the unrighteous. For what is the expectancy of the defiled one, when he does cut off, when Eloah takes away his life? Would El hear his cry when distress comes upon him? Would he delight himself in the Almighty, call on Eloah at all times? Let me teach you by the hand of El that which is in the Almighty. I do not hide. See, all of you have seen it. Why then are you altogether vain? This is the portion of a wrong man with El, and the inheritance of cruel ones, which they receive from the Almighty. If his children are increased, it is for the sword, and his offering shall not have enough to eat. Those who remain of him are buried in death, and their widows do not weep. Though he heaps up silver like dust, and lays up garments like clay, he lays up, but the righteous puts it on, and the innocent divides the silver. He built his house like a moth, like a booth, which a watchman made. He lies down, a rich man, but he is not gathered. When he opens his eyes, it is no more. Alarms overtake him like a flood, a storm, and shall steal him away in the night. The east wind takes him away, and he is gone, for it sweeps him like from his place. And it hurls itself against him and does not spare. He swiftly flees from its power. It claps its hands at him, and it hisses him out of his place. Indeed, there is a mine for silver in a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is melted from ore. An end to darkness he has set, and to every limit he is searching, to rocks in deepest darkness. He opens a shaft far away from people. They are forgotten by feet. They hang far away from men. They swing to and fro. Earth, out of which grows food, is turned underneath as by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. No bird of prey knows the path, nor has the hawk's eye seen it. The proud beasts have not trodden it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. He puts his hand on the flint. He shall overturn the mountains at the roots. He cuts out channels in the rocks, and his eyes see every precious gem. He dams up the sources of the rivers, and he brings to light what is hidden. And wisdom, where is it found? And where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its value, and it is not found in the land of the living. And the deep has said, it is not in me. And the sea has said, it is not with me. Gold is not given for it, nor is silver weighed out as its price. It is not valued in the gold of Ophir, in precious shoham or sapphire. Gold or crystal are not to be compared with it, nor is it exchanged for a vessel of fine gold. No mention is made of coral or crystal, for the price of wisdom is above rubies, and topaz of Cush is not to be compared with it, nor is it valued in clean gold. And wisdom, from where does it come, and where is the place of understanding? It has been hidden from the eyes of all living and concealed from the birds of the heavens. Destructions and death have said, with our ears we have heard a report of it. Elohim has understood its ways, and he has known its place. For he looks to the ends of the earth to see all the heavens, making a weight for the wind, and measuring out the waters by measure, when he made a law for the rain, and a way for the lightning of thunder. Then he saw wisdom and declared it. He prepared it and also searched it out. And he said to a man, see, the fear of Jehovah, that is wisdom, and to turn from evil is understanding. And Iob again took up his discourse and said, oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days of Eloah protected me, when Eloah protected me, when his lamp shone on my head, when I walked in the dark by his light, as I was in the days of my autumn. Then the intimacy of Eloah was on my tent. When the Almighty was still with me, when my children were around me, when my steps were bathed with cream and the rock poured out rivers of oil from me, when I went out to the gate by the city to take my seat in the open square, the young men saw me and hid, and aged rose up, they stood. Rulers held back their words and laid a hand on their mouth. The voice of the leaders had hushed, and their tongue clung to the roof of their mouth. For when the ear heard, it blessed me, and when the eye saw, it gave witness of me, because I rescued the poor who cried out, and the fatherless who had no helper. The blessing of the perishing one would come upon me, and I made the widow's heart sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it robed me. Right rulings was my cloak and turban. I was eyes to the blind, and I was feet to the lame. I was a father to the poor, and I investigated the case which I did not know. And I broke the jaw of the perverse and snatched the prey from their teeth. Then I thought I would die in my nest, and increase my days as the sand. My root reaches out to the waters, and my dew lying all night on my branch. My esteem fresh within me, and my bow renewed in my hand. To me they listened, and they waited, and kept silent at my counsel. After my words they did not speak again, and my speech settled on them. And they waited for me like the rain, and they opened their mouth wide, as for the latter rain. I smiled at those who did not believe, and the light of my face they did not dim. I chose the way for them and sat as chief, and I dwelt like a sovereign in the army, like one who comforts mourners.